Many of us are very familiar with this product. I've even bought it myself from time to time. But what if I could show you how easy it is to make yourself a year's worth and save yourself heaps of money? Let's get to it. First off, we start with 2 litres of water, which has been boiled and cooled off, and I'm adding the same amount of raw apple cider vinegar. Next, I'm going to be adding in a kilo of just plain sugar. It's just normal granulated white sugar. You could use raw sugar or whatever sugar you have on hand. It will still work the same. Next, we're going to beat it to within an inch of its life to get all of that sugar to dissolve in the liquids. The acid from the vanilla will help to break down that sugar quite quickly, and this won't take very long at all to do. But it is really important that you dissolve all the sugar into the liquids. Once that's done, you can set it to one side. You don't need to do anything to it at this point. And we're going to start prepping up our mint leaves. Now, I source most of my fresh herbs that I don't grow myself from Kirkgate Market in Leeds, and inside there are some lovely small stalls that sell huge bunches of mint and coriander and all kinds of herbs, fresh, beautifully picked that morning, for £1 a bunch at the time of recording this. And on this particular trip, I picked up 10 bunches. Now, no matter where you get your mint from, whether you grow it in the garden or you buy it in bunches from the supermarket or the market or wherever, we need to strip all of the leaves. You don't want the stalks for this job. When I have jobs like this to do, which are in some cases a bit mind-numbing and boring, but I know I'm going to be sitting there for a while, I tend to put on a movie and watch that, or I'll listen to a podcast, watch a YouTube video, do something other than that, and just that keeps my hands busy. And the time goes very, very quickly. As you can see, I'm holding on to the mint stalks. They're not going to be wasted. They are going to be put to some use. A couple of my favourite methods of putting them to use is either I'll drop them in a bottle of vodka and leave them in a dark cupboard to make minty vodka, or I will put them in a tub filled with granulated sugar so that I can have some mint flavoured sugar for different desserts and puddings and other cooking, etc. They can, of course, also be used for making rough tinctures with apple cider vinegar, etc., which they could come in useful later on down the track for anyone who's got a stomach issue or something like that, where they need a little bit of a stomach relaxer. On this particular day, I happened to use 6 of the massive bunches of mint that I was able to obtain, and they filled the tub. Now, I started off using the food processor, and in that I placed it full to the top loosely with the mint leaves. Now we're going to put the top on and start the processing without any liquids in it to start off with. And slowly, as we process the mint leaves, we're going to add some of our water, vinegar and sugar mix, just a little bit. Now, normally I would do this in the blender, but unfortunately the blender is being used for other purposes on the day that I was making this, so I'm using the food processor. But you could use the blender and you could put it all in together, and that's not a problem. I actually do prefer doing it this way with the food processor, and I'll tell you for why. The mint and pickle ratio tends to be a lot better. The reason being that I have control of how much mint is going into the vinegar, And when you're doing several bottles at once, you want to make sure that every bottle is even. Now it does take me several batches to get all the mint to where I want it. Now we don't mind having a bit of a chunky mint because at least you can get to see what is in there, and we use it for different purposes. Like we use it for vinaigrettes, we use it on potatoes, we use it with lamb, and once the mint's all done, it just goes into that tub. As you can see, that already has the pickle in it. Yes, I do take the pickle juice or finished sauce out and pop it back into the processor to help with the other batches to break them down further. But all that does is help to break down the mint even more, and we have a really good variety of texture in our sauce. "15 minutes later, 3 batches of mint done, and we are ready to pour our mint sauce into our bottles. Now, I do recycle many glass bottles in our household. It means we have 3 bottles. All the bottles are washed, sterilized, and ready for use safely afterwards. So there's no problem with that whatsoever. On this day, the mint is a little chunkier than I possibly would normally make it, and that's okay. It really, really is. So I was having fun going down the funnel, but I did find a straw and was able to pop it in really, really quickly. It is incredibly important when you're doing any kind of preserving that all your equipment is properly sterilized and washed. And what you guys didn't see is that on that chair that you can just see behind the bottles, I have a little tray of preserving utensils which are kept in a washed, clean and sterilized state at all times, which is where the straw came from. Now for me at this point, it's really important to get all the mint in the bottles evenly. So I half fill each bottle with the liquids and make sure that all the mint is distributed evenly between the bottles before topping up with any more liquids. And you just continue through this process until you have all the mint in the bottles and you're starting to top them up with all of the liquids. On this particular day, I managed to make 5 litres of mint sauce. Now that's the equivalent of just over 30 of those small bottles we had a look at right at the beginning. Now, if you wanted to buy that many at the cost that they were at the time of filming, that would be £36.36. There's a couple of things that we need to take into account when we look at costings, etc. But before we do that, I'd like to have a look at the ingredients list of the said product. It says 25% mint, spirit vinegar, which is white vinegar, sugar, glucose fructose syrup, water, salt, acid or acetic acid, stabilizer, which is xanthan gum, colour, which is copper complexes of chlorophyll, many of which of those we haven't had to use. Now the vinegar that I do use is an organic apple cider vinegar. It cost me £10.49 for a 5 litre bottle. I've only used 6 of those bunches of mint and that's only cost us £6. The kilo of sugar was about 80p. So in total, it's cost us a grand total of £11, 80p and 45 minutes out of our day to make this product. So not only do we have no added chemicals or additives that we don't need in our product, but we've made a great shelf stable sauce that will keep us for a good 12 to 24 months for approximately a third of the cost of what it would be if we had to purchase it from the supermarket. Now, these costs even drop even more dramatically if you're growing your own mint, which up until this point I was, and I will be doing so again this year because I would be saving myself another £6. I'd like to say thank you for watching this video, and if you would like to see what happened with the mojito and the rest of the mint, please subscribe to the channels and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when that video comes out. And I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye.